Hi, thank you for joining me. My name is Sue, and today I'm going to show you a card that was inspired by my chocolate lab who was sitting outside, and he looked like he just couldn't see his friends because he's social distancing himself from everybody. And I felt so bad, and I thought, shoot, what if the dogs could do a Zoom meeting and they could see all their friends? And so I came up with this card idea. I hope you enjoy it. For this project, I found some animals that looked like I could use their headshots in like for the Zoom meeting. So I found this set with these three animals, and then I found another set from Gina K with the little owl. On this one, I thought she was really cute. And I also found one more owl that was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. To start out with, I cut 6 little squares, 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch, and then I took each of the stamps that I found and just did their headshots that in the center of each of these. Depending on your stamps, you could either go further away or closer, but I wanted to just get the headshots. So like this owl, I don't have everything that's on there. I didn't get the stick and all that, but it didn't matter. That's not what I was looking for. After I was done stamping all 6, then the next step is to design the backgrounds that are going to be needed for each headshot. For the raccoon, I figured the raccoon's always in people's backyards, so I chose to do a fence background, and I kept it real simple. I just did some horizontal lines with the Copic pen with my ruler and just colored it with a shade of brown. It was a golden brown here from Spectrum Noir, but I just kept it very simple. There's no shading. I'm going to let the raccoon be the focal point and the background just kind of be a symbol of where he might be at the time of a Zoom meeting. I did go in with my pen after I did the coloring and represented the grain of the fence. And with that, I just did some straight lines, some curvy lines, some hooked lines. There's a lot of videos out there on how to do fence boards and fencing, but for this one, since it's just the background, I kept it very simple and just did some basic lines. This dog is the cutest little thing. He's just a little scruffy dog to me, so I kind of figured he'd be out roaming the streets. Therefore, I gave him a brick wall background, and I just drew some horizontal lines random, and then I drew some verticals to make it look like a brick. Nothing fancy. As you can tell, I did not measure. I probably could have done a better job, but it was just a freehand just to give it the representation of the brick, and then I just drew the vertical lines down randomly doing that. I colored it in a deep red, I think it's DR7, which is a deep red for the brick color. I really like this color for brick. It just, to me, it just is a perfect color without, you don't even need to blend any others in here, colors. And I could still see the black lines through it. Therefore, you still can see that it was a brick wall. And after I was done doing the wall, I just went in with the Jelly Roll white and just redid those lines again. I started to do the black, but I liked the white better against the red tone that I chose. So I just went through and loosely colored in some lines again, following those black lines for the brick. Every cat needs to be in front of a fish aquarium, so I drew some goldfish that I have, these little tiny fish, and then I colored those in just a basic gold, and for the background, which I didn't video, I just did a blue background. For this little guy, I just did some leaves and like he's in the tree with the sky, kept it very simple. This little guy looked like he just needed to be in front of his house. A lab just needs to just be in front of his home. So I tried as best as I could to just freeform a doghouse. And I started with the roof, and then I just started making little vertical lines down looking like the panel. I then freeformed a door because I realized he should be in front of the door, so I just kind of again drew where the door would be, and then drew another lines for the vertical, and then I went in for the roof line. This is not, it's just representative of a doghouse. I'm sure there's a lot better ways to draw it, but this was what I did. And then I just went in with the dark gray for the back of the door, or for the door entrance. And then I kind of even went a little outside the lines to kind of make it look more like a door. And I chose red for a red house. Here you could still see the black from the pen that I used. So that worked out really good to leave those shine through the red. I didn't do the very corner one because I wanted to leave that with the sky so that you can see that it was a doghouse and not, I needed the blue on the side. And then I just did the sky on the top and around that. And then I went in and did the black for the roof of this little guy, so he has a home. For this owl, I decided he would be in a different time zone and it would be nighttime, so I just took a mask because I'll color the moon, and then I just did the dark blue sky. My blue has a lot of ink on it, so it was kind of going through the mask, but I just kind of made it work. And then the yellow, I just did a solid yellow through there, nothing fancy, no shading, enough to just like represent nighttime on the moon and the dark sky. And there you have it, all 6 backgrounds for the animals. And there was a lot of coloring I did for the animals, so here's what they look like when they're all done. It's up to your imagination how you want to color the animals. For the panel and the monitor, I used black and white cardstock, and I have the measurements listed below for each one. For the base of the monitor, I embossed the word Zoom, and I used an older set. I'll put the link below, but any stamps that you have that has the letterings for Zoom, you can use. And I heat embossed that in white, and then I just attached the panel that we're going to put all the animals on. I attached that on top of the monitor just using a tape runner for that. And once you have it all lined up, then you can just start putting the animals in the pattern of a Zoom meeting. And I tried to arrange them so that they're kind of looking at each other, like their eyes are facing each other, or like the cat is looking up. And since the lab was looking straight on, I put him in the middle. And there's always somebody in the meeting that's blinked or they're falling asleep since they're home. I put him in the corner, figuring I remember there's some people in there that aren't quite paying attention to a Zoom meeting, and that's how this little owl reminded me. And then the raccoon has some like eyes, like he's looking at the other like, oh brother, you really said that? So that's how you can arrange them any way you want them, depending on how your animal stamps that you have may have different looks to them, and you just arrange them to the way you want them to. And that's how that looks all complete. For the base of the card, I just did an A2 size card, and I scored it at 4 1/4 on my score buddy, and just folded it with the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I then attached the monitor to the card base and added 2 sentiments from a stamp set that I will link down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And please give your furry friends a little loving tonight. Thank you.